Welcome back to Both Sides of the Story, part 2 of the workout. And this time we have some stations and some AMRAPs, as many rounds and reps as possible at each station. So for the first minute, we're going to do Cossack squats, and I'll go over each of these with some options. Then have 30 seconds of rest. Then we'll do a minute of Russian twists with 30 seconds of rest, and 1 minute of twisting plank with 30 seconds of rest. We'll do that for 3 rounds, and there won't be a rest at the end after the final twisting plank. You're going to keep track at each station of how many you do, and we'll count right and left as 1, and I'll show you that for each one of these, okay? So for the Cossack squats, back up so you can get a full view here. We do these a little bit in our warm-up, so we're going to stand quite wide, okay? Wider than shoulder width. Toes are facing forward, maybe just slightly out to the side. And we're going to think about sitting down and back, feeling a stretch to this leg, trying to keep the long leg foot planted, okay? If you need for it to drift up, you can. Try to keep upright in the chest as much as possible, okay? Sitting down and back. First, really trying to keep that knee behind the toes, okay? So we don't want to initiate the movement here, okay? So I'm not kind of driving forward with the knee, but I'm sitting down and back, okay? So that's why we're making it more of a squat movement there. If you would like, you could use some resistance. If you have a dumbbell or a kettlebell, today I have this jug of water. If you want to lose a little bit of resistance, you can hold that kind of like in a goblet style position and use that. Sometimes it can actually help you keep a little more upright torso. If those are too much, come in a little bit and shorten your depth, but still think about sitting down and back. Again, even if I shorten my stance and my depth, I don't want to initiate that knee forward. I want to sit down and back to the side, keeping this curve in my low back. Okay, so I'm not hunching forward as I squat here either. When we count these, we're going to count reps as, this is my left, my right is 1, okay, and 2. This way, and 3. Okay, so to get 1 each way to count as 1 rep for your score. And then we'll have 30 seconds of rest. Next, we have Russian twists, and that's where this odd object comes into play. And I'll give you a minute before we get started to find what that object is for you. So you want to find something that you can tap side to side, okay, as you're doing your work. Options for this are to have your feet planted, heels just lightly touching the ground if you need to, okay, touching side to side. Ideally, you'd want to have the feet up. So I like to cross my ankles, stay proud and tall through the chest, and same here. So just like with the Cossack squats, because we're doing bilateral movements, we're going to count it as right, left 1, right, left 2, right, left 3, okay? And again, bringing the feet down is a way to make it a little bit easier if you can. Keep the legs off the ground. The final station is twisting plank. And so what we're going to do is come into a side plank. Okay, so we're stacked. I'm long, strong, tall here, and my hand is on my hip, and we can reach up, and then we swap, rotate in here. So that would be kind of the RX version. If lifting the leg is too much, don't do that. If you need to stabilize yourself on the way, okay, you can come there. You can stabilize. If that's too much, you can be on the knees and work to an elbow, side plank. Okay, elbow and side plank for that. And if all of that is too much, you can also elevate. So we talked on our plank hold about using the wall. You can also use the wall as an option here. Okay, so side plank, rotate, side plank. And just like the squats and the Russian twists, we're going to count right, left as 1, right, left as 2. So we're going to have a minute of work at each station with 30 seconds of rest in between and 3 rounds. So we're going to essentially go 3 times through each of the movements. I'm going to give you a moment to find an odd object. So again, if you have anything in the kitchen lying around, maybe a smaller bag of potting soil, I'm going to take a sip of water while you find that. If you have a dumbbell or kettlebell or plate or slam ball or medicine ball, feel free to use that as well. We're not calling for the use of it during the workout itself. But if for the Cossack squats, but if you want to use it, you can. Again, for the visual folks out there, 3 rounds, as many reps as possible at each station of 1 minute of Cossack squats, 30 seconds rest. 1 minute of Russian twists, 30 seconds rest. 1 minute of twisting plank with 30 seconds rest. You're going to keep track of reps that you do each round, counting right, left as 1 for each movement. Okay? The clock will show the intervals, so it'll count down the minute. When it turns red, those will be our 30 seconds of rest, and it'll give us a 3, 2, 1 between stations, and I'll call out which movement we should be on, okay? You just adjust this. Looks like sun-wise it's not as visible to you. All right, I think we can work with that. So it's going to give us a 10-second countdown. We're going to start with the Cossack squats. If you want to hold your odd object, feel free to do so, but don't feel obliged, and we'll get started. 10 seconds. All right, and so we're going to find our nice wide stance.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, then I'm going to sit down to the side, keeping that knee behind the toe. Good. Keep counting every time you get both sides done. I'll adjust that clock during our rest. Keep moving. Feel it in the glutes. Feel that stretch in the inner thigh. Good work. Keep counting. Now pressing that whole foot through the floor to stand up. Nice work. Hold strong for those first squats.
3, 2, 1.
All right, we're in our 30 seconds of rest now. See if we can make it slightly more visible. Somehow our light just became less favorable. That's right. He's going to count for us in the 3, 2, 1 fashion. We're getting ready for Russian twists. So grab that odd object, come to a sit, and we're going to work on keeping the feet up and tapping to the floor on either side of us for the whole minute. Good. You can rotate the shoulders, feeling the core. If you need to, the feet can come down. But if you're able, keep them up. Chest tall and proud. Keep breathing. And if you're keeping pace with me, maybe you can keep track of the numbers because it's hard to count and talk. Nice work. Keep up that rhythm. Stay steady. And our core strong.
3, 2, 1.
Nice job. 30 seconds rest, and then we're going to come into our rotating side planks, okay? Remembering you can use the wall as a scale. You can reach the arm and the leg tall in between if that feels good to you. Do what works best for your body. About 5 seconds, and then we'll come into our planks.
3, 2, 1.
So right side, left side is 1. Ooh, find my balance. I was overreaching a little bit. Stack that shoulder. If you need to, you can come onto the knee into a side plank or use the wall. stressing the wrists. Kind of come elbow and lift.
2, 1.
Good job. All right, we did one round. We have 2 more. First thing we're going to do for round 2 is the Cossack squats. If you want your odd object, go ahead and grab it. If you don't, that's totally great too. We're going to adjust ourselves to that wide stance. Thinking about sitting back, sitting to the side. Catching our breath.
3, 2, 1.
How fast those rests go. Good. Sitting down and back. Nice work. If you're not holding anything, think about keeping that chest tall and upright as you sit down and back. Keeping that leg long and strong, foot planted. Good. Pick it up one more time. I like holding things. Give me a little feedback. Keep up the movements. We have the extension in between. Using the glutes and the inner thigh.
3, 2, 1.
All right. Next is going to be Russian twists. So have that odd object nearby, or your dumbbell or kettlebell or plate or ball. And we're going to work on rotation. And working the obliques. Activating those lateral abs. How are we looking here? Coming close. 5 seconds. Lifting the feet if you can.
2, 1.
Keeping the chest up. Right, left counts as 1. Keep it up. Keep your breath. Rotating the shoulders as you need to. Core is engaged throughout.
3, 2, 1.
It's a burner. All right, 30 seconds rest, and then we're going to come into our rotating planks. Remembering your modification. Again, if it gets to be too much for the wrist, you can come to the elbow and lift. Opposite elbow and lift. Okay, that's an option as well. I'm going to do what I can to stay on hands for the push-up position.
3,
Here we
2,
go.
1.
Touching the side. Lift if you can. And staying engaged in the core. Let's stick with it. Middle round, so we hold on. Nice work. Active shoulder. Long body line. Lift gets to be too much, just work on that side to side rotation.
3, 2, 1.
All right, 2 rounds done. We're gonna go last time through each of those individual movements. Doing great. Thanks for keeping with me. I think the red and green make it a little harder to read, but thankfully they give us a verbal cue. All right, what's up next? The Cossack squats, okay? So let's come to a stand. Find that wide stance. Feet are planted, toes are forward.
2, 1.
And we sit side to side. Good. And we're down and back. Nice work. Last squat, stay with it. Doing great. Good. Pressing that foot through the floor, sitting down and back, keeping that knee behind the toes. Nice work. All right. No more squats for this session. You did it. Now we're going to come to the Russian twists. I don't know about you. These, I think, might be the hardest ones for me. But I like a good challenge. Ready to hold strong through the movement. Don't know what my numbers have been. Watch this back and count. Trying to keep that same pace you've had for those first 2 rounds.
3, 2, 1.
And here we go. Lift the feet and tap. Need to rest, let the feet lower. Stay moving. And lift them again if you can. Hold on to that object. Keep your grip. Find your breathing. Keep your rhythm. You're doing it. Nice job.
3, 2, 1.
Woo! No more Russian twists. We have to celebrate when we're done with that movement for the workout. Our last set of twisting planks. Be able to keep up the version you've been using. Do that. If you need to modify, but keep moving, that's great too. Use the wall, use the elbow and lift. Any of those are great choices. Working on activating the obliques, making our core strong today.
3,
Last set of work here, last minute. Good, work hard. Ooh, don't fall over. Good job. Try to keep that hip high. Consistent body line here. Doing great. Last bit of work. Stay with it. Almost there. All right. So we did it. Part 2 for both sides of the story. You've seen them both now. Join me for a little bit of mobility on our final video for this session. And thanks. Great job, everyone.